Welcome. This is Dr. Benzinger on Health with secondopinion.org, another seminar on secrets to a good night's sleep. The importance of a good night's sleep is key. The point of it is a good night's sleep can make all the difference in many different disease process prevention, and that can come from fatigue to pain to depression to many other things that can make a big difference. And if you have been a poor sleeper for years, possibly some of these factors that we're going to go over today might help you be able to get a better good night's sleep, and that could make a big difference, okay? For some of the things that we're going to be addressing is your habits, your environment, your timing of going to sleep, stimulants that you might use at night, eating and drinking as to what you put in your mouth at night, and exercise. Some people exercise late at night and that creates problems. Consistent habits before bedtime is probably one of the first things we like to address, and that is we want you to be boring, just boring. I mean, the more boring you can be before you go to bed, the better it is for your good night's sleep. So doing the same thing starting 1 hour before bedtime over and over and over again is key to a good night's sleep. Okay? Go to bed. Hey, go to bed as early as possible, the same time each night. Now, it might not happen every time, but you do the best you can because you want consistency in the habits, and mostly if you're struggling. So going to sleep at the same time each night develops habits that your body can count on. You ever have some people, they're so good at it, they end up yawning about the time when it's time to go to sleep. And that is a good sign because they are developing a pattern in teaching their body it's time to go to sleep. My sister Colleen, she's the finest. She can tell you it's about 8:30, not by her clock, but by the first yawn that she gets. So we know exactly when Colleen's going to sleep. So if you want to get extra sleep, go to bed early. And I say that, and I'm going to say it multiple times throughout this seminar. And the reason why is this. People who sleep in during the day mess up their entire hormones, circadian system, and end up creating a lot of problems. If you ever notice, most of you, when you do sleep in, unless you're just grossly fatigued, you've overworked, you haven't slept much, whatever, that might be a little bit different. But most people that sleep in the extra hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on a Saturday and Sunday, if they notice, they don't have the energy they normally have on those days in the past. And that's usually got to do with the issue I've told you about, okay? Going to bed, try not to go to bed after 11 o'clock. Good example of the circadian system of how your body, most bodies work. Your adrenals recharge between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Your adrenal glands, which helps you deal with stress in a day, recharge during that time. Okay? Gallbladder. The gallbladder dumps toxins and supports in detoxifying what your liver has been put through during the day. And if you always drink 1 or 2 ounces of wine, this is key to happen. If it doesn't, then whenever you get up the next day, you're not recharged, you're not able to handle the stresses of the day as well, and toxins will back up in the liver and create other problems. This is a very big deal, a very big deal. Going to bed right before, at least before 11 o'clock. Hot showers and baths. Take a hot shower and bath before you go to sleep. Warm water seems to help soothe everything. It's relaxing on your muscles, your tendons, your skin, your ligament structure, and your nervous system, which is key in this case. Next one is very, very important. I always like to make a key point in this area, and the reason why is because journaling, writing down, for those who just can't let the day go or get on with the next day itself, okay? We find that if it allows you, if you sit down and just jot down a few things, make sure you're organized to the next day, for the next day, as well as clear up any issues for today that didn't get settled, or things that have affected you or hurt your feelings and you don't have anybody to talk to. Journaling or writing it down really does a good job of cleansing your thoughts of the day, and then they're put to rest. If you want to be miserable, they're in writing. You can go back and read them again, but you don't have to think about the thing that hurt your feelings over and over. Every time you replay those things, the likelihood of a good night's sleep decreases drastically. Okay? Knowing that everything is remembered and prepared for the tomorrow. I've had people get up, right when they lay down, go, oh, I got one more thing, and they'll reach over and they'll write it down on their table, but they know it's done. And then they can usually relax and get to bed. That is key. This is as effective as anything that I'll ever tell you to do, putting your mind to rest so you can go to sleep. Read something spiritual or religious. These types of writings have a tendency to relax and quiet the spirit and the mind, which is what we're trying to get done. Mystery and suspense novels, they seem to raise the pulse and the blood pressure, and many times can, even though you like to read those things, reading mystery and suspense novels before you go to bed is not wise. Romance novels, depending on how you deal with the romance novel or how romantic it is or how it hits your heartstrings, might affect the quality of your sleep for the same reasons, okay? Let's look at sleep environment, okay? In other words, your room. Create a restful environment. Listen to white noise, okay? They've got these boxes you can buy at Brookstoners or many places, and many of these places off the internet. White noise is something that, for some people, helps them sleep. The ones that watch television and fall asleep, white noise might work for those people. Me, if television's on, I'm wide awake. I'm not going to sleep. Relaxation CDs, such as those at www.healthjourneys.com. Healthjourneys.com. They have a lot of a great variety of those types of things that are actually bent on helping you get quality of sleep. Because you know what? You never know which one of these things that we're going to tell you is going to work for you, but you can go through them one at a time, and you'll find 2 or 3 things that when you are having a hard time sleeping, probably this works. Avoid television and other stimulation before you go to bed, or otherwise you probably aren't going to sleep well. And sleeping in complete darkness makes a huge difference as to the quality and the rhythm, something called the circadian rhythm of your pineal gland. Pineal gland sits right between your eyes, about 2 inches back, let's say 2 to 3 inches back into the brain, okay? Not too far in there, but it secretes melatonin and it secretes serotonin. Serotonin is what antidepressants are trying to keep up in your body so you don't get depressed. Melatonin helps the quality of your sleep at night. So melatonin helps you go to sleep, serotonin helps you wake up and be happy. And if you disrupt that by not having complete darkness, it makes a big difference, because the whole issue is when you hit sunlight in your eyes, it starts affecting the pineal gland. When there's darkness, it affects the pineal gland. So in darkness, melatonin goes up. In light, serotonin goes up. Don't want to disrupt that pattern, okay? So purchase blackout shades and everything for your home. We found in our home it made a huge difference for my wife and I, okay? Wearing socks to bed. Poor circulation can cause a change in quality of your sleep, and socks will help keep them warm. And if you have cold hands, you might wear gloves. That might be very therapeutic for you. So don't be shy about doing such things, okay? Avoid alarm clocks. Waking you up to an abrupt alarm is very stressful. Think about it. Those that are kind of jumpy people anyhow, waking up to a loud alarm because your partner can't wake up is really harmful to you. So you're going to have to find a compromise that'll work. It makes your adrenal glands just jump in the morning and makes your nervous system jump. And frankly, it's very, very hard on your system. It irritates your nervous system. It's unnatural. It's like being startled awake, and is not a good process, okay? In fact, it does create a lot of problems with your body not looking forward to getting up in the morning because it's going to be startled awake. I know it sounds strange, but it really does make a difference. Alarm clocks. The Soleil Sun alarm clock. If you'll take a look at this picture, it's kind of interesting because it kind of looks like this dome of light. And it does have some sounds that it can give you, which is sounds of the sea and ocean and things like that, which I think are very helpful for some people, okay? But also some people, just the idea of a light coming up bright in their room, which this thing gets really bright, is a wonderful way of waking up. And you can have it take 45 minutes to come to peak of light, or 30 minutes or whatever. And then at that time, then there might be some waves of the ocean or something else if you need sound to help you wake up. There's also the capacity to actually start your hormones and nervous system in a healthy manner with this process, and it's something I think is one of the best clocks out there. Now, there are others. This is not the only one that you could purchase, but I think you'll find it beneficial. And there's a sunset setting so that you can set it so that it slowly dims down until it's totally dark in your room. You might find that you do better. Sun goes down, you seem to get tired. Maybe this helps you. So that might be another possibility, okay? Remove the clock from your viewing range. The idea that you can actually see the numbers and there's light in them can start changing. Remember the melatonin, serotonin. When you see light, serotonin comes up. In the middle of the night, you don't want serotonin, you want melatonin, because that's what helps you get deep night's sleep, okay? So seeing that clock and starting your thoughts for the next day or something you forgot, you know it, we've all done it. might postpone your sleep an hour or 2 hours, and that loss of an hour or 2 hours can make all the difference in a stressful day that you have, okay? Check the room for high electromagnetic fields, EMFs, okay? EMFs disrupt the pineal gland's production of melatonin and serotonin. Remember, for some of us, we could sleep underneath electric wires. It wouldn't matter, wrapped in them and have them plugged into a 220 volt wall. It wouldn't be an issue. But for some of you, it's a big issue. And you are easily disrupted even by cell phone magnetic force. So realize it's a possibility. If you look at a book that's going to be on our site called Home Safe Home by Dr. Deborah Dad made a really interesting observation. Even the cotton sheets that you sleep on, they're soaked in formaldehyde, okay? Formaldehyde can keep you up at night, make sure you don't sleep well. So you'll find at our site at secondopinion.org ongoing information that should make a big difference as to your quality night's sleep beyond even what we're going to cover here, okay? So you might be the one that has 3 computers and 2 televisions and 2 cell phones sitting right next to you. That electrical input in your case might be a problem. It just depends on the person, okay? Some people are very sensitive and can disrupt your energy and can disrupt your sleep. EMF meters, you can get them at Cutcat. It's very cutcat.com. They cost anywhere from $40 to $100. If you have several of you that want to know if you have EMFs to a level that might disrupt you. For those that have children that have ADD or ADHD or other neurologic disruptive patterns, you might find that the EMF levels in their room is an issue. So you might want to consider that. If we are going to use melatonin to help us, look at this. The exposure to sunlight naturally increases hormones. So melatonin, if for some reason you're having a hard time sleeping, you might want to supplement with melatonin or the precursors to help the quality of your sleep. During high stress and low extent of sleep, I don't get as much sleep, let's say, because I'm in a major project such as this one today, and I need less sleep and need to have it better quality. Sometimes I will use melatonin for that reason, because it promotes a deep quality sleep, okay? You want to use it with caution and never more than 3 months at a time. 3 milligrams is about it. Try not to go over that. They have 1, 2, and 3 milligram doses, but you experiment until you find out what works for you. And if you don't want to use the actual hormone, melatonin, you can use its precursor, which is called 5-HTP. 5-HTP, which is called hydroxytryptophan. Hydroxytryptophan or L-tryptophan itself. But L-tryptophan is only available with a prescription now from your doctor. Just like anything, a few that have overused and abused such a good protein, it causes us not to be able to get it so easily, okay? So all of us have to pay for a few people's mistakes, unfortunately, and that's a good example of it. Bedroom temperature, try not to keep it above 70. We know that if you're too hot, you can't sleep well, and a little cooler. Some people get it really low at night, but they sleep much better, okay? Use the covers, cooler temperatures, and will help you sleep better in certain cases. Let's look at your bedroom. Keep your bedroom for sleeping, okay? If you got the big screen television in there and you think you're going to watch some horror movie and you're going to go to bed at night, sleep a quality night, or you're going to watch one of your favorite sports teams and you're going to shut it off and be excited or depressed and go right to sleep. Let me tell you, that ain't happening, folks. You are not going to sleep that well. And if you already got things that are on your mind or you're struggling with, you can guarantee that's going to be a problem. Okay, watching TV in bed is just not something you should be doing, and many do it. And frankly, I call it a lazy family habit, because the truth of the matter is that bedroom's there for some specific reasons, and that is you and that person or people and your good night's sleep. You start messing with that, you mess with the entire rest of the day as well as the family unit, and that's not okay in my estimation. When we talk about food, food and drink do's and don'ts. Okay, a protein snack, a small protein snack, not a big steak, not a 16-ounce steak, but something that's an ounce or 2 of protein is very beneficial because it has tryptophan. Turkey is a good example of that. Turkey has a high amount of tryptophan. It increases melatonin and it allows you to go to sleep better. Interesting enough, isn't it? Whey protein shakes or rice protein shakes, great idea. Small amounts, only about 3 to 4 ounces of fluid, okay? A small piece of fruit. Digest easily, keeps your blood sugar up. For those that sleep 2 to 4 hours and wake up consistently and you're hungry, we know your blood sugar is probably the problem. So having a little protein, a little fruit is very, very beneficial, okay? So it helps, and just so you know, fruit sugar helps protein get across the blood-brain barrier, so your brain gets more protein. It's more functional, helpful to get you having a better quality night's sleep. So here's the don'ts, okay? Don't drink a lot of fluid 2 hours before you go to bed, because you're going to get up and go to the bed over and over if your bladder can't handle it. And as you get older, guys with the prostate, it's a big issue. Women with incontinence, big issue. Try to slow that down if you can. So decrease those fluids, all right? Snacks, okay? We don't want heavy breads, we don't want sugar, and we don't want alcohol 3 hours before bed. So heavy grains like breads, pastas, sugars, alcohol 3 hours before bed, okay? For those that are hypoglycemics, again, we'll go back to it, have half a fruit and some type of a protein, preferably no bananas. Sometimes it's a little bit too sweet, okay? Even though you love it, okay? And then you might get a better night's rest because you're getting the proteins across the blood-brain barrier. You're having a little bit more blood sugar to last longer in the night so that your body doesn't get up craving for food, okay? All right. Foods that you're sensitive to: dairy, wheat products that cause GI upset. Again, if you eat too much of anything and your GI tract is upset, it's going to work all night trying to handle that stress and duress. You're not going to get a good night's sleep. MSG, that's many times in Chinese foods, many seasoning products, and is in many, many products, is another issue. Excitotoxins, those that are used for sweeteners, for diet drinks and things like this. For some people, is an excitotoxin and actually creates a problem. If you've not looked at the work of the neurosurgeon, neuroanatomist, Dr. Blaylock, you can do a search on the net and find him. You'll find they're studying information about these excitotoxins you should know about for you and your family. Big meals before bed is a no-no. Caffeine is not metabolized easily for some people, so it'll keep you up all night long. For some people, you have to know what your cutoff is. Okay, I can have coffee and I can do this until about 3 o'clock. At about 3 o'clock, I'm done. And you know that. And you must honor it. For some people, if you have more than a cup in the morning, you're jazzed all day long. Some people can't drink it past 6 o'clock. You need to experiment, but know that caffeine can play a real big role, okay? It's often in diet pills. Hey, Excedrin, you got a headache, you take Excedrin, you can't figure out why you can't go to sleep, why you're wired. Well, it's got about, I think, approximately 60 milligrams of caffeine in it also. So look at that. Sodas, whether diet or not, you might not be putting as much sugar in your system, but you are putting a lot of caffeine as well as other chemicals in your system, and should not be drank before you go to bed, okay? Medications and addiction, okay? Try many, many conservative approaches, and as well as over-the-counter type of medications before you start using heavy-duty stuff. It's amazing how fast we switch to it, and we haven't used all kinds of other things that we can then control it no matter where we are. And plus, medications over a long-term period of time do create problems in the majority of cases in one way or another. So be conservative in every way you can. Frequent use is the fear. Okay, frequent use I'm fearful of, in my estimation. I hate to see frequent use over and over and over. What is it? The medications, cold medications, knock people out, so they'll use them. I've had people come in and they've been using them 10 years. And they don't think that much of it until they don't use it and they notice that they clamor for it and that they actually have some addiction that's been developed to it. So just realize that that really does happen and should be watched closely, whether a physician's involved or not. Okay, whether a physician's involved or not. So you need to make sure a physician is involved if you're using it on a frequent basis. Synthetic sweeteners, for many, they are stimulants to the nervous system. It doesn't matter which one of these. If you look at NutraSweet and Sweet and Low, Sugar Twin, it goes on and on. This is not the complete list. Splenda, for some people, it affects them, and you need to know that, okay? Some of them may be toxic to you. Some make the liver work harder, and instead of resting and being calm and quiet and allowing you a good night's sleep, the liver gets overworked when MSG and certain synthetic sweeteners are involved. So keep that in mind too. So MSG and other stimulants are a concern. Alcohol. It does make you sleepy in the beginning, but later the blood sugar can be affected to a point in which the quality of sleep changes drastically. So you need to realize that, okay? Produces a tired, sluggish morning. I think B vitamins before and after alcohol use is something to be considered, okay? Losing weight, sleep apnea, okay? Sleep apnea is increasing significantly with weight gain in our society. So the real threat worsens all types of conditions, not just diabetes and other obesity issues, but sleep apnea is going through the roof because of these situations. So realize I have located a dentist in our area, and I'm sure there's many others, that actually have bite plates that help by supporting the, like a TMJ syndrome, temporal mandibular joint syndrome, if you've ever seen that, but their bite plates used the same way, that holds the jaw slightly forward, and by doing so gives you more space in the back. So for those that can't wear those CPAPs, you just can't wear them. You might want to try one of these jaw extenders. The thing's going to cost you anywhere from $300 up to $700, but if it works, it's cheaper than the CPAP, and plus, I'm just one that I can't wear a CPAP. I can't do it. It drives me crazy. I can't have this covering over my nose with cold air going up my nose. It's just me. And I think from what I've spoken with, there's quite a few people out there with the same problem. So you might look at a TMJ splint that will help lift it out. And it's kind of like, for you guys that are football players, just like a football bite plate. That's what it really feels like, okay? For menopausal or perimenopausal symptoms, work with a natural medical physician when you can, or a medical physician that is quite well versed in other options of menopausal and perimenopausal symptoms. Exercise. I cannot say enough about exercise. Regular is in and excuses are out. The truth is, you're going to have to decide that this is part of your life because it makes a big difference. What's it mean? A consistent bedtime routine when we're talking about sleep, going to bed early, the same time every night is key. Hot showers and baths before bed, protein and a fruit, small amounts, no big meals, is helpful. No fluids 2 hours before bed, creating a restful environment. Not seeing the time on your alarm clock on a consistent basis helps. No watching TV before bedtime. No stimulants, caffeine, or alcohol. No medication addiction tendencies or synthetic sweeteners, MSGs, etc. Exercise, lose weight, and take good care of yourself. Those are a good sampling of those things that you can do to control your own future quality of sleep. For those that have had children in the last 2 years, that's frequently a problem. Try to find any of these that can help you get a better night's sleep because it will reduce your symptoms of other diseases. In our obesity section at secondopinion.org or our diet weight loss section, one of the articles that I brought up was interesting because they said for those that consistently get lower sleep cannot lose weight long term. Some of you go, oh my gosh, that's me. I only get 4 or 5 hours and I've been gaining weight the last 3 or 4 years. I can't stop it no matter what I do. Guess what? Get more sleep. That might be a simple, easy solution that you can empower yourself to that change. We hope you've enjoyed today's seminar of finding ways, those secrets to a good night's sleep. This is Dr. Benzinger on Health with secondopinion.org. We thank you for tuning in. We'll look for you next time, and may God bless you.